And we are live here on Totem Pole Nation. Life Lessons in the Morning. I'm Johnny Bottles, and I'm joined by, as always, the CEO of Totem Pole Nation, possible future presidential candidate, Coach Bald, and the great unsung hero of Totem Pole Nation,
The low
Coach
man.
Troy Taylor, serving America's youth.
I'm serving something. And it might be a load of crap. I can't even get guys to count to three. You got to be able to count to three to play for me, Coach Mountjoy. Wayne Klingman, you are the best. You are Totem Pole Nation. We
Morning,
love
Wayne.
you. We love your support. We can't wait for another one of your podcasts. The Good Looking Crew, not as good as you, Wayne Klingman. Coach Bald, what are we talking about today?
Hey, our life lesson for today is manners matter.
Ooh.
You might think you're the coolest person in the world. You might think maybe you have all the money in the world, but really how you treat people, that really, in my opinion, dictates what type of person you are and if I want to have you around in my life. So yeah, manners matter. And yeah, I feel like it's starting to become old school. Well, I think old school was pretty cool. I believe in opening doors for the ladies when they walk in. Okay, I still believe that that's important. If I see an old lady that's walking across the street by herself, well, guess what? I might just have to go out there and stop traffic to make sure she gets that way. That's just me. I still believe in it. I don't want it to be old school. I think it's very polite when you say, yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. I think that's it's still proper. It should be proper etiquette again. I don't know. That's just kind of, I think manners matter. Uh, Johnny Bottles, I know, I see you shaking your head. Tell me about it.
Well, let me ask you guys a question. You guys all go to the grocery store, right? Everybody does some shopping at the grocery store. When did it? When did we stop saying "excuse me" when we walk directly in front of somebody? When did we stop saying that? If you're
Probably
standing
with
there
text
looking at a shelf
messaging.
and someone walks inches away from your face, right in front of you, and doesn't say "excuse me," kiss my ass, nothing. Doesn't that aggravate you? That infuriates the hell out of me. Because I was raised, you walk in front of somebody who's doing something or staring, watching at something, or even having a conversation with somebody. You say, "excuse me." I've been talking to people in a store, and someone will walk right between us and not say a word.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think with the advent of text messaging, I mean, we're 20 years into text messaging. I remember I had a girlfriend who she texted, and that was back when to do A, you hit one once, and then B was twice, and then C was one three times, With the advent of text messaging and email, talking on the phone. I mean, talking on the phone is something people don't do very often. So being able to communicate is important,
Right.
and being aware of what's going on around you. I mean, I guess the advent of MySpace. I got a website. I'm important. What I say is important. There. I guess it's enlightenment. Before enlightenment, what you thought didn't matter. Before humanism. You know, before the Renaissance. If you want the king or the pope, it didn't matter. You were a nobody. Now, everybody, what they say is important. Why? Because they can tweet it. They have their own YouTube, like us. Look at
Right.
us.
Hey,
I mean,
yeah.
I'm a nobody.
You're the
I'm
low man on the totem pole.
I am the lowest of the
I'll
low.
beat you
I'm
to it.
with Johnny Cash. I'm with Mother Teresa. I need to go to Calcutta. I need to be with the people with the lepers. I'm the lowest of the low. And that's who I like to roll with is my man Jeff Matthews,
Mm-hmm.
a totem polar. Johnny Bottles. Yesterday, Jeff Matthews gave $1,000 to LC Bird, not just football program, but the cheerleading program.
Excellent. Excellent.
Then he gave another $1,000 to Bird football in the name of his 4 coaches, Coach Elena, Coach Paulette, Coach Waters, and Coach Bland. I mean, it's unbelievable. And he said something to me yesterday in a text, and he said, Troy, you said it yesterday. The people that have it don't give it, and the people that don't have it do. And he told me when he was delivering pizzas when he was a kid, he would go into the rich neighborhood, which was Woodland Pond in the Highlands, and he wouldn't get tipped at all. Then he would go into the government housing, Bermuda Run, Park Lee Apartments, and he would get great tips. And he, at the time he was a kid, he was, in high school, he didn't get it. He didn't understand it. And I was driving for Uber and Lyft during the pandemic because there was a need. Dude, I made $1,000 a week. When the world was shut down, people still needed to get to work. And there's a lot of people that don't have a car for whatever reason. And Uber and Lyft, you think you just drive drunk people. No, you drive people to work and you pick them up. And there's some other bad things that occur, from Uber and Lyft. I mean, I think it also is involved in trafficking, dude. I really do believe human trafficking. Mm-hmm. They move people from place to place. But one thing I found out, because I would go into Gilpin Court, I would go into Hillside Court, I would go into Wickham Court, I'd go into anywhere. If you ever come to Richmond and it's got court on it, all right,
know that.
I would go in there and pick those guys up that needed to go to work, and they said, thank you. Thank you. No one will come in here. I had to wait for an hour because nobody would come in here. Sometimes, this is what Jeff Matthews said yesterday, sometimes the best people live in the worst neighborhoods. And sometimes the worst people live in the best neighborhoods. Like Kanye said, and it all falls down. Sometimes the richest people, the best people are the worst inside. Johnny Bottles.
Yes.
What you thinking?
I'm thinking you're exactly right. I don't know why people who have it better in life than most look down on people who are they consider beneath them, the people in a lower economic stature. And it's a shame because they were there once, We all start out the same place. We all start out at ground zero. You know what I mean? You're 1 minute you're in a all wrapped up in a womb, and the next minute you're shot out into the lights, and there's a doctor catching you. And we all start out that same way with a doctor catching us, and no one's better than anybody else.
Manners.
But your manners are a matter of respect that you have for other people. And there's a lot of people walking this planet with no respect for anybody. It's a shame.
Yeah.
But they're taught not to have the respect because they don't have respect for their parents. They don't have respect for their elders, their teachers. They learn it at an early age. And I firmly believe that we're failing a lot of these kids in the inner cities, the ghettos, people from
the rich neighborhoods.
The rich
neighborhoods, the kids will treat you worse than in the bad neighborhoods.
Right.
Dude, here's the thing. Like, as a coach, I see it all the time. As a teacher, I see it all the time. You got kids that want to act like they're from a bad neighborhood, and the kids that are actually from the bad neighborhoods, they're embarrassed to even say they're from there. Mm-hmm. And they don't act like that because, dude, they don't talk. Because people that talk, they get beat up. People that talk, they attract attention to themselves. And there's an old saying, the loudest person in the room is the softest person, the dumbest person. But manners, when I went to go see Coach McNally, oh, you're from the South. You say, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am from the South. And proud to be from Virginia. I would have been with the home team. I'm a hometown guy.
Right.
But here's another thing, y'all. Coach Bald, you can comment on this. Sometimes people's manners change depending on who they're talking to, because it happens in football. You got the Alabama logo, and some people are like, "Oh, coach, it's so great to see you, coach. What can I do for you? So you're the best." And then some guy might have, Podunk University or Podunk State East, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, well, what? What do you want?" They think that they could turn it on and turn it off.
Mm-hmm.
But how you treat the custodian is how you treat the president. And Coach Ball, that's your expertise, is hospitality. You are a certified life coach, and you taught me this. Treat rock stars like
regular people, and then you treat regular people like rock stars. You will you'll
What do
find
you mean
yourself
by
in a
that?
good place. Well, I mean, I think just this, when you have a certain status, you're kind of used to people uh, kind of brown nosing, kind of going over the top, stuff like that. And what all you really want is somebody to be real with you. And then, a person that, can maybe, you know, they're doing all they can to get into this place. They're the low man on the pole that have worked their tail off, and now they're in this certain group. That welcome them with open arms. Treat them like the best thing that's ever happened. Because it is. That was just something somebody taught me a long time ago, and it does. It makes a lot of sense. It's important. It's really important. It's nice to be important, but I think it's more important, to be nice to people. And as far as manners goes, it was beat into me at a young age by my mom. And I've had people, comment and say, why would you call me ma'am? And, I tell them, I'm like, well, ma'am, I'm sorry if that offends you, but my mom might be over there in the bushes and making sure I'm using good manners. And I don't want her to not hear me call you ma'am and her come drop kick me outside of the bushes.
Yeah.
That's just how she was.
I mean,
She respect.
Coach Tony Whittingham, that coaches with us. He's a very successful businessman. He worked for the state. He's a deacon, or he's an elder in a very large, prominent church here in Chesterfield, Virginia. And he was sitting talking to me yesterday, and he said when he was a kid, he was disrespectful to his mom. His mom smacked him right in the face. He was 16. And he said he would never be disrespectful to another person. I think he's close to 60 now. And he always says, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, please, and thank you. But, dude, there's a point, like, I meet you with the energy you meet me. Like, I'll say please, thank you, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. But, like, I can feel people's energy. I mean, I know what time it is, and there's another side to me. So, how do you feel about that, Johnny Bottles? Like, is there a point where you got to meet negative energy with negative energy?
Unfortunately, in this world, it's a lot like that. People do meet negative energy with negative energy. And I was just, while you guys were talking, I was just looking up the effect of manners and respect in society on young people. And Horace Mann, a man from the late 1700s, who many say was the father of modern education, said, manners easily and rapidly mature into morals. When you're taught manners at an early age, it bolsters your moral fiber, your sense of what's right and wrong. And he's right. Practicing and teaching good manners and etiquette to the next generation matters more than ever and fosters character development. And that's from the great Horace Mann, who died in 1859. And he was a major force behind establishing unified school systems and worked to establish a varied curriculum that excluded sectarian instruction. So,
You
even
know
back
what,
in,
though?
what's that?
Like, all of this formalized education as we know it today,
Mm-hmm.
from what I understand, started around the time of, I don't know what they're called, but they're basically the rich people that took over the world. I mean, there's always been rich people taking over the world, kings, queens, whatever. But the Rockefellers, the Vanderbilts, like basically they started
The
this.
Illuminati.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you want to call them. I mean,
Right.
they're the haves, and I'm the have-not. The guys that are at the top of the totem pole, I'm at the bottom. But schools, 9 to 5,
Mm-hmm.
do what you're told.
Mm-hmm.
That whole system was created to create workers. I mean, that's what they claim. I'm not
Regimented
saying it's
instruction.
true.
Yep. Yep.
I'm
You're
not.
right.
I'm not claiming that it's true or not true. But Wayne Klingman says the Army, yes, Army discipline. But there's a bigger rule. There's rules to the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. They call it the golden rule.
Mm-hmm.
Does it work today? If you went back 100 years ago, would it work? If you went back 200 years ago, would it work?
Yes.
If you went back 1,000 years ago, would it work?
Well,
Maybe that's why it's called the golden rule.
Not too sure about 1,000 years ago, but 100 years ago, 200 years ago, yeah. People follow the golden rule because people were religious back then. People were God-fearing. They believed in God. And the biggest problem, now I am no Bible thumper, fellas. I believe in God. I believe when you die, you go to a better place. I've seen too many near-death experience videos where people
Everybody goes to the better place?
Everybody, well, not everybody. I've seen accounts where people said that they were in hell. They were in hell. And they prayed for Jesus Christ to come save them.
Wow.
And all of a sudden, they get sucked out of where they were. And they're back in the light again. And then someone says, it's not your time. And you come back into your body in whatever state it's in. And I've seen too many videos where, now we're going on a different tangent altogether. I'm just saying that I believe in God. I believe in religion.
Important.
I believe in all that stuff. And it was taken away from our kids out of schools. They try to do away with the Pledge of Allegiance. They took that out of schools. If you don't have respect for your country and the principles that this nation was founded on, how can you have respect for the future, for the world that you're going to help create in the future? How can you? If you're not taught about God, how can you have any respect for God and the teachings of God? I don't know. It's just me. I mean, I went to a Catholic elementary school, and then I went to a regular public school for high school.
Yeah, I went to a Catholic church too. My dad said, "Troy, you stay away from that priest." Yeah, I had a baseball coach, and he said, "Troy, stay away from that baseball coach. He's a weirdo." Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Troy, I want you to stay away from Father Randy, Troy. Stay away from him.
No, my dad is from Appalachia, Virginia. He's from where no one wants to live. He's from where they pay you in money that you can only use at their store. And they own your home and you don't own anything. And you work for them. You know, so yeah, there's been some bad people. There's good people and then there's bad people in the world. I teach history. And it's the first thing I tell them. I say, dude, there's been good and there's been bad people throughout history.
Let me ask you this,
There's been
Troy.
good and bad people done.
As a teacher, let me ask you this question because I don't get a chance to talk to a lot of teachers. As a teacher, do you believe in the world being black and white? I'm not talking about race.
Yes.
I'm talking about principles. There are good people and there are bad people, black and white, and there's no shades of gray.
Oh, I believe that everybody's has shades of gray.
Oh, okay.
I don't think anybody. I mean, I'm not going to get into who some of these people are because if you bring up their names, you get in trouble.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
Good or bad,
Right.
Dude. Maya Angelou, who I didn't know anything about her till I was 42 years old. She's the greatest American poet. You know, she said, "I am a human being, therefore, nothing human is alien to me." And that isn't even her saying. That's a slave saying that. That's a quote. I am a human being, therefore nothing human is alien to me. Now you think about that. What does it mean to be human? The first thing I think of is, well, if someone else is capable of robbing a bank, I'm also capable of robbing a bank. I knew Pee Wee. Pee Wee worked for me at Meadowbrook. He was a great guy. He cut the grass, he picked up everything. But someone came to me one day and said, Pee Wee robbed a bank. And I said, you're kidding me. And they said, yeah, he walked in the bank with the note and said, give me all your money. He took all the money and went and started handing it out to people. And he went to prison for a long time. But here's the other side to it. There's been some people now, man, here we go, because I'm going for my inner being, okay, because we are human beings.
Of course.
So the being, I'm going for my inner being on this, because I
B-E-A-N?
believe in this. If there's been some great people that have walked this earth, okay, and I'm not going to get religious and say the religious people, but there's been people like Mother Teresa and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Mahatma Gandhi, and none of them died rich. And if they walked this earth and they were a human being and you're capable of robbing a bank, then why are you not capable of being like Martin Luther King? Why are you not capable of changing the world? Because the people that change the world, Steve Jobs says, are the people that change the world are the ones that are crazy enough to think they can change the world. The people that change the world are the ones that are crazy enough to think that they actually can. Why are we here?
That's strong right there, pal. That's pretty strong.
Why are we here? You know, what are we doing? What do you believe in? The greatest teacher of all time was Socrates, and he taught by asking what, Kyle? Questions. He asked questions, Kyle. The greatest teacher of all time taught by asking questions. You know what they did to him, Kyle? They gave him a choice. They said, dude, he's like Ozzy Osbourne. All right. He was accused of teaching against the gods because he asked people, do you believe in the gods? And then he was accused of corrupting the minds of the youth. He's like Ozzy Osbourne. I mean, I'm not a big Ozzy Osbourne fan, but I love that movie they made about Motley Crue. And he snorted the ants. I mean, that is, man, dude. They
Was
said,
that movie any good? Was that movie good?
good?
Great movie. You gotta
Good?
watch it.
It's
I
a
haven't seen it
party.
yet.
It's a party in a press play. Yeah, it's a party in a press play. All right, watch it. You'll love it.
I gotta see it.
Don't
You'll
watch
love
it
it.
with the-
I don't
watch
even
it
like
with the
Motley
grandkids.
Crue, but I love that movie.
Right.
It's vulgar. It's vile. It's funny. Okay.
The Dirt? Is that what it's called? The Dirt?
Yeah.
The Dirt.
Or after the book? Yeah, okay.
Socrates
It's
was
one of
given a
those
choice.
Friday, Saturday night movies, Johnny. It is. Have you a cocktail, watch it, and you will feel like you're inside of the party.
They lived
But
to party.
you know,
I want to say one thing. Hold on, Socrates. I'm sorry, man. Socrates and I'm gone. Socrates was given two choices, Kyle. Drink the hemlock or never come back to Athens, his home.
wow.
He's gonna get a cup of hemlock right now.
Yep.
He drank the hemlock. He drank the hemlock. If he would have left Athens, would the low man on the totem pole be sitting here talking about him today? Would anybody believe
Wow.
in what he taught? He was willing to die for what he believed.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know,
As most
Martin
people with
Luther King
principles
said,
are.
yeah,
People with
dude,
principles are like that.
yeah, you're willing to die for what you believe in.
Well, what you're
And Martin
talking
Luther
about
King
right
was.
now, what you're
Huh?
talking about right now, you could do a 2-hour Totem Pole Nation show about what you're
I mean,
talking about.
I've done a
we could
20
go
year.
on and on and on about this.
Yeah, I've done a 20 year. You know, some of the best people are from the worst neighborhoods, and some of the worst people are from the best neighborhoods. Dude,
Right.
I roll with Mother Teresa. I roll with Johnny Cash. I'm with the Folsom Prison. I'm not with the highfalutin people. I'm not with the people that think they're good. I'm with the people that are at the bottom. That's why Johnny Cash was the best. But Socrates drank the hemlock and died for what he believed. And Martin Luther King said that he was going to die for the civil rights movement. He knew he was going to die. I mean, they tried to kill him before.
They were after him.
Yeah, and he said this: not all people, Kyle, can be famous, but all people can be great, because greatness is determined by service. And what's manners? Service. Yeah. Hey, man, let me go coach football, because I'm just the Route 10 coach.
You got some emotion. Get out there.
I'm the
Hey,
low
I
man
want
on the
10 up
football.
downs from you before you even walk out of that office.
Yeah.
Not on camera, but I want them. Get them chopping. Get them chopping.
Unreal. Like I
There you
told him
have
when
it.
you were
See,
getting a cup
ladies
of
and gentlemen,
coffee.
that's what happens when you have really good coffee to start your mornings right there. He is upgraded from that
Yes, he
Folgers
has.
in his cup.
He's fired up
I'd have
this
some
morning,
Red
man.
Bull in there too. I don't know what that
Paint
concoction
thinner. Got a little
was.
paint thinner in that coffee. Good Lord. When you were getting a cup of coffee, I told him we could talk about this for hours on a podcast. Everything that he's going into, and, with bringing up Mother Teresa, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and the like. So, yeah. But, you know, manners is manners is everything nowadays. You gotta respect yourself. You gotta respect other people. And if you don't have manners, that means you don't respect other people, as far as I'm concerned. So, what's your take on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I worked in some really tight quarters. I've worked in some bars and, spots that, I mean, it was elbows to
Sketchy. Yep.
assholes. You know what I mean? Like and as security, you got to get through. So
Mm-hmm.
I'd kind of put my hand up, move people and just say, hey, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. And then when it's really go time, it's arm up, swimming people, doing the old football maneuver, getting past people. But it was always, excuse me, security, security, like just letting people know and be aware. And
Yep.
it's important, it is important to say please and thank you. We say it to, our grandkids all the time. And, it's something that we use in our verbiage when we're out to eat or, we're at a place. We're always saying please and thank you as well.
Right.
I think you
Right.
get better, you'll get a better feedback. And if you're at a restaurant, you'll get better service and stuff like that. It's such an easy thing to do. It should be second nature. It should be a natural thing. Just like when you wake up, you gotta, brush your teeth before you leave your house. It should be a ritual, I think. But I was one of those kids that, when we weren't doing it, we'd get popped, for not being polite and stuff like that. And,
How often
yeah,
have you heard this from the kids nowadays? Something that the kids coming up now say. I appreciate you.
yeah,
I appreciate you.
yeah, yeah,
At least
absolutely.
they're trying. Instead of saying
Yeah,
thanks, I appreciate you. But that's a
yeah,
form of them saying thanks. I guess it's to
yeah.
sound, hip, sound different. It
Preach. I
works.
think
It
I heard
works
people
for
say that.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
preach.
Yeah.
Yep. So you got the grandkids coming in, huh?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, that's Mr. Big has the grandkids coming in.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. I thought
Mr.
I saw
Big's got the
you'd posted one pic this week of one of the little ones, I thought maybe.
Yes, yes. He was they've got a female pit bull named Icy, called Icy because of her eyes are like an icy blue. And that dog follows my little grandson around no matter where he
Oh,
goes. They play dinosaurs together. When he was even smaller, he would ride her like a horse. And he's got all these. I don't know what it is with little boys, but they at an early age you get fascinated with dinosaurs. And he's got all these plastic and stuffed dinosaurs, and they get on the floor and they play. And she sits there and watches him, and he's talking to her while he's playing with his dinosaurs. And wherever he goes, she goes, watching over him.
oh, that is
You saw him
awesome.
peeking over top of that recliner, That pic I posted, she's right there with him. So, yeah, he's a funny kid. He's a funny kid. They make a good team.
Hey man,
Yeah.
this one loves the little ones, man. Whenever they're in the pool and they're swimming and they're under the water for a good little bit, man, she is head on a swivel, just ready to hop in and save them. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, it's okay. She could swim, he could swim. They're okay. Like, back up. You're gonna claw the heck out of them and not even realize it. Because this one, she loves to swim. I think she's over here looking for a boyfriend right now.
Yeah, there you go.
Malaysia, where's the dolphins? Get the dolphins. Yeah, but looking to get her a little sister here soon. You got a buddy that's got a Roddy, and he's gonna link it up with another one. So might be having a another little baby girl over here soon. So definitely looking forward to that. I didn't realize the difference, like timing wise. With ladies, it's usually 9 months for the
Mm-hmm.
pregnancy. With dogs, it's closer to like 90 days of them having it and everything. And then
Yeah.
the wife went into it and was like, "Well, elephants are 22 months pregnant for 2 years. Unbelievable."
Carrying around an elephant in your stomach. Good Lord.
Man, I tell you what, after this weekend's party, I felt like I had an elephant carrying around in my stomach as well, man. We had a really good time, but man,
You had quite a
oof.
crew over there. B. Brian Blair,
Oh man,
Fidel
yeah,
Sierra, the Cuban assassin.
yeah,
And
man, great bunch celebrating his birthday and everything.
yeah.
Yeah, it was phenomenal just to be a fly on the wall and hearing some of the stories with those guys. I mean, those guys were full throttle, 80s, 90s. You didn't, that's, when they had the territories. The territories were so nice because that's how you got to each one of them. You had 4 or 5 cities that you would go to, and that would be your deal. And you'd buddy up, and it was always kayfabe. So you had to, if you was the bad guy, you had to roll with the bad guys, and vice versa. If you was a good guy, you had to roll with the good guys. And it's just so funny to hear those guys because as the baby faces. I mean, you really had to hide from everybody because everybody wanted a picture. Everybody wanted to an autograph or
Mm-hmm.
a hug and tell you how much they love you. And then with the other guys, it was quite the opposite. Everybody wanted to fist fight you, see if he was really tough or talk trash to you. It was awesome times back then, man. The stories that those guys have is just it's phenomenal.
As a friend of B. Brian Blair, has he ever told you why the Iron Sheik hated him so much?
No, but the next time I talk to him, I'll ask him. He went. He was coached up by the legendary Hiro Matsuda,
Mm-hmm.
and just so many legends. That Hiro Matsuda trained, and I mean those guys used to do these bonsai squats. I mean, just it was wild how hard he would work these guys, but that's all he would do. He would make these guys go until he felt like quitting and try to make them quit, just to see, really it was like only the strong survive kind of
Mm-hmm.
mentality. But yeah, next time I see him, I'll definitely reach out to him about that. I'm sure he'll have a good story
Oh, I'm
about
sure
that.
he will too.
Yeah,
The
man.
Sheik really hated him in real life. It wasn't like an act. He really
Yeah.
didn't. He really disliked him, but he could never. When he always talk about B. Brian Blair and F him and all this other stuff, he would say, yeah, well, he was a cartoon character. The Sheik was. Uh, he never really went into detail about why he hated him so much. But Andre, Andre hated the Sheik. A lot,
Yeah.
just because they work together in an organization and wrestle doesn't mean you like the guy that you're wrestling. And the Andre almost killed the Sheik, just like he almost killed Bam Bam Bigelow that
Oh
time.
man.
That
He
ran
did.
Bam Bam out of the company, out of the territory.
Right. That's exactly what did it, man. The beast from the east was ready to bounce after that, man. And yeah, when you watched the clipping of that, you saw a 400-pound man getting ragdoll like he's probably never been before.
Right.
But that's the thing with Andre the Giant, man. He could have done that to anybody in the world. He's one of the biggest, strongest, and I know you've heard some of his legendary beverage sipping stories.
112 beers at one sitting.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. And they would show a picture in the articles online. They'd show a picture of him holding a can. It was like you or me holding a 7-ounce can.
Yeah, a little shot glass.
A little V8 can. Yeah. Good
Yeah,
Lord.
that was the thing, Johnny. What they would tell me is that because I believe Fidel had to go with him to Japan for a tour. And what they did is in the back, they just had, it was almost like a shower curtain. And they would just break out the shower curtain and put it around him. And he would kind of do his business right there. I mean, heck, I could barely fit in those bathrooms. I mean, and this guy was a whole foot taller than me and, 300 pounds heavier than I am. So you could imagine that's the only way they could use the bathroom on that thing.
Whenever you were a hotel maid and you were going to clean a room that was that was rented out by Andrei Rusumov, you
Oof.
knew that you would go in there in a hazmat suit because that shower stall would have his leavings in there. And last I heard, the Hilton didn't have a garbage disposal in the shower drain, so he would drop it in there and he would leave it because he couldn't fit it on the toilet or between the sink and the toilet or whatever the configuration of these various hotel rooms were. Good Lord Almighty, cleaning that up.
Yeah, absolutely. But I spoke with my man Fidel the other day. He's going to Charlotte, North Carolina this weekend. They're doing a 3-day event there. It's called The Gathering. It's a wrestling event. Yeah, it's a wrestling event. The guys are going to have merchandise out there. It's going to be a good story.
Well, I think we lost Coach Bald. Now he's back. There he is. Coach, we have audio. We can see you. Can't hear you. I can hear something now.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
But yeah, he's going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina this weekend. And yeah, if you're watching, look that up. The Gathering, Charlotte, North Carolina this weekend. Just going to be, I want to say 50, 60 amazing legends at that show. So yeah, it's going to be some good stuff. And I think him personally too, he's looking to get rid of some of his auction off some of his legendary robes. I don't know the whole backstory of which robe. He had such an amazing run in Portland where he pretty much held every championship title. And at one time, he was holding a couple belts at the same time, not just tag team, but the heavyweight belt, and also his run in WCCW over in Puerto Rico. I know he had some merch he was looking to get rid of for that. I just saw a thing where I guess it was Hulk Hogan had sold a pair of boots, and it went for, I want to say, $66,000 for a pair of boots from '85. So,
wow,
phenomenal. But any last words before we tap out for the day, sir?
Mind your manners. All you kids out there watching, there's no kids watching this. What am I trying to say? Well, maybe. Who knows? Mind your manners. Show some respect for people. If you want to be respected, showing respect is a great way of gaining respect.
Yep.
That's all I got, Coach. That's all I got.
Without a doubt. Absolutely. Treat people how you want to be treated. Law of attraction, man. Energy. When you see somebody that's energetic, and you bring the energy to them, man, it's contagious.
That's like that book, The Secret.
Yeah.
Have you read that book, The Secret?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Good stuff. And Same thing if somebody is just has no energy and you link up with them, next thing you know, you're gonna be having that. Or if somebody yawns and then you start yawning, man, it's all contagious. So yeah, do a good deed today. Be nice, be polite, open the doors. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. No, ma'am. No, sir. It'll all come back. But huge shout out, Cultivate Wellness. Check out our website. Huge shout out to Sideline Design, making us look as fly as we possibly can. And yeah, if you're in the Florida area and you need some rejuvenation, check us out at St. Pete Rejuvenate. I believe we're gonna have Zach on today at 3, so keep dialed in for Totem Pole Nation. He's gonna have some good motivation for you. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you guys on Friday. Until the next episode.